For a while there, the Americans were ruling the UFC, but in 2025, it's more diverse than it's ever been. But who are the top 10 best American UFC fighters right now in 2025?
Bo Nickel, pillar of the UFC.
Peyton Talbot.
Yeah. There's actually like no one coming up from the US. It's kind of crazy. Except maybe like Chase Hooper. That's it.
Yeah, he a dog. But
yeah. All right, let's get into it.
A lot of old heads on this list.
A lot of old heads on this list. Yeah, I was surprised. You know, America, I feel like it's always thought of as like the premier of the MMA world. But like, honestly, there's not that
right
many.
Now, they're probably like the third best like country. Like I'd probably put Brazil over them right now, and I'd probably put Russia over them.
Well, Russia definitely. Vinicius Oliveira is carrying Brazil on his back right now, and Pantoja.
Yeah, true.
All right, let's get into it. I'll start off.
I like how you take Vinicius Oliveira over Charles.
Yeah, bro, young Vinny Jr. Okay, honorable mentions: Ortega.
He didn't even make my honorable mentions, but sure.
And Usman.
I didn't even put Usman as an honorable
Really?
mention.
Okay, I thought I was being bold by
my honorable mentions. Sandhagen got one.
Okay.
Aljo got one. Strickland got one.
I may have forgot about Aljo.
I mean, he didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Strickland got honorable mention. Like, I was going through. I mean, I don't know if you have Strickland on your list, but I'm gonna quickly talk about him. Like, I'm going through like lost to DDP, then split decision win over Paulo Costa. Like, didn't even look good, and then loses to DDP like handedly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not that good anymore.
Yeah.
And then Jamal Hill was my last honorable mention.
Okay, yeah, Hill was fair. I just like light heavyweight. Meh.
He's bomb.
Yeah. My number 10 fighter is Corey Sandhagen.
Okay.
Didn't give him too much respect, even after the Figgy domination.
I don't care. He's still mid. Still mid.
I still just don't see him like, you know, he's calling for a title shot. The only reason it makes sense is because he's the only one in that whole top 6 who
hasn't lost to Merab.
Yeah, Merab hasn't beaten yet. And like, do I really want to see a Jan versus Merab rematch? No. I think Merab beats Sean O'Malley, and then after that, you know, maybe we do a Pantoja matchup versus Merab, because that's the only new thing that we have going on. But other than that, like, I don't want to see Sandhagen get 50-45 by Merab. I don't think he has the best chance, like he's saying.
You get dominated by Umar, it's going to be worse against Merab.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even going to be a fair contest, I don't think.
But all of a sudden, Sandhagen's a wrestler. You know, he was a wrestler all of a sudden.
Yeah, he was just rolling over and over again in that Umar fight. That gave me PTSD, man. He got a good win over Figgy on the weekend, so respect on his name a little bit, proving that he's still that top 5 material, but he's not like that top 3 material.
Yeah.
He's right outside.
All right, my number 10 fighter. You're talking about you can't put a light heavyweight on this list. I put a light heavyweight on this list.
Okay.
Khalil Roundtree. I'm still high on him. I think he beats Jamal Hill inevitably. You know, gave Pereira a tough fight. You know, and has kind of worked his way up throughout the rankings. And I think that he's definitely a top 5 light heavyweight in the world right now. Maybe even top 4 behind Yuri, Ank, and then also Pereira. But it's kind of like we were talking about it before, like there's a lot of guys who are like the 4th or 5th best fighter in their divisions right now. Like I think like Strickland's probably like top 5 fighter, but it's like there's a lot of them at the bottom of the list, so like picking and choosing. Like you could easily take Strickland over Roundtree, but I'm just a little bit higher on Roundtree right now than I am on Strickland.
Yeah, we're going on like their current level, not their resume. It's like, how are they doing right now in their career? So if you think Roundtree's gonna beat Jamal Hill, then that would put him at a top 4 spot pretty
exactly
much. So yeah, okay, my number 9 fighter, this is where I got Justin Gaethje.
I have Justin Gaethje at number 9.
Yeah,
we always got this guy at the same spot.
He's just too old now. I don't see him ever. Well, he shouldn't get another title shot. He definitely won't win if he gets another title shot. I don't see him beating a Paddy Pimblett. I don't see him beating an Arman. I don't see him beating a Dustin Poirier in a rematch. I don't see him beating... He already lost to Max Holloway. Dan Hooker, I would say that's a close fight because they're both just CTE merchants.
Yeah, he's like the 7th best lightweight right now in the world.
Give him Joel Alvarez, and I think that's a close fight.
Well, Joel Alvarez in welterweight now.
Kill me, bro. I don't want to see Joel Alvarez in welterweight. We don't need another...
Welterweight's too good.
It's too good.
You throw an
man.
Islam up there, Joel up there. May as well just throw Ilya and Patty up there too. Like let's just screw lightweight and just put all of our eggs into welterweight.
Lightweight's gonna become the worst division somehow. That's crazy.
Chase Hooper just gonna except for Chase Hooper all of a sudden gonna be too heavy. You'd be like, I can't do the cut anymore. Gotta go to welterweight.
I mean, he is 6'1" or 6'2", so I can see it. Yeah, but no, Justin Gaethje, I just don't have much good things to say about him anymore. He looked okay against Fiziev, like nothing.
He got the win.
Super impressive. His chin looked pretty recovered, which I guess is a good thing for him. But you know, Fiziev is ranked number 11, and Fiziev lost to him the first time. Fiziev hasn't fought in forever, coming off that long layoff on short notice. So it's like, I mean, some people might rate the Fiziev win highly, but I don't rate it super high.
You beat the 11th best guy in your division as the third ranked guy.
Yeah, and on short notice. So
exactly.
It's like, doesn't matter.
All right, my number 8. No, you're 8, or I can go with 8.
You go 8.
Yeah, I'll go 8. I got this where I got Joaquin Buckley.
Okay, wait. I might. Yeah, I have Buckley too. Jeez.
Dude, stop copying my list always. It's Joaquin Buckley. You know what you're going to get. No skill, but
whoa.
He's got skill, but he's one of those guys like an RDR or a DDP. Where
I know you want to say something out of pocket right
they just
now.
got the plot armor.
He does. He honestly does have plot armor.
He's got the plot armor.
At welterweight.
Yeah.
At middleweight, this dude had no plot armor. Welterweight, this guy's just cooking everybody. And I think he beats Usman, which is why Usman was on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I don't see how a 2.5-year layoff Usman is going to beat prime Buckley. I'd say prime Buckley.
Yeah, 100% he's in his prime right now.
Yeah. Crazy power, crazy athleticism, can shuck off takedowns from Colby Covington pretty easily, and I think he even got takedown himself. So I'm high on Buckley. I'm higher on Buckley than you are. I know that, so I'm surprised we have him at the same spot.
It's okay. Sean Brady's also going to be on this list later. There's going to probably be a big difference in our spots.
I love my welterweights. Okay, my number 7. This where I got Sean Strickland.
Ooh, that's high for him.
I don't think it is, man. Look, I get that he's a jab teep merchant, and I don't think he's ever going to have a dominant performance after that Izzy fight. Like, I think that was more of a one-off. Somehow he managed to look absolutely like a world beater, and then that completely changed everyone's perception of him. You got to remember, I believe this guy was coming off a short notice win over Abus Magomedov to get that title fight, and he was ranked about number 7. So it's not like he had gone through murderer's row to get to the top of the division, like a Rob Whittaker or anything like that. So got that title shot, and then everyone's like, oh, the biggest upset of all time, this guy's amazing. Loses his title on first defense, split decision Paulo Costa, loses handedly again, and now he's just a bitch, dude. Like, dude, he's actually pissing me off. Like, the way that he acts to all these like influencers, and I get they're asking to be beat up, but like, man, he's just embarrassing.
He's someone that like, it's just a tier 2 guy who had a really good performance kind of thing. He's a tier 2 middleweight who had a really good performance and became champion.
And I was happy. Like, I was ecstatic that he became champion.
And I thought he was going to be Drickus again.
It meant so much to him. Yeah.
But he's just, in reality, not in like that top tier of guys. It's not like he's going to become a 2-time champion.
And he's like 35 now. So
exactly.
34.
He got his championship. That's a thing that a lot of guys can't say. Some guys who are even ahead of him on this list can't even say.
That's true.
So,
bro, honestly, it's just for marketing purposes. Like, you just got to get that championship just so you can market yourself.
I mean, yeah, it's what your goal is in sports is to become champion.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, individual or team sport.
Exactly.
All right, number 7. This is where I have Sean Brady. So we see Sean Brady. We have the TKO loss to Bilal. You got the loss or the win over Gilbert Burns, but like, how much do you value modern day, like 2024 Gilbert Burns and then 2025 Leon Edwards? Like, the thing is like the Burns and Leon back-to-back wins, great wins 2 years ago. Like, how good are these guys right now? And this is something that we would have talked about in our JDM versus Bilal predictions. It's just like, how much leverage can you put into these wins? Like, how much can you take out of these wins with guys like Gilbert Burns, who we know right now is not who Gilbert Burns formerly was when he was a top welterweight, and we know that Leon Edwards is just a shell of himself. It looks like he lost the love of the game now that he's no longer champion. So it's like for Sean Brady, it's like, I struggle to put a lot of value into his wins when there's guys above him who I value a lot higher in terms of wins. I do think he's very talented, but I think that he's very similar in terms of skills of the guys, and I value their wins over wins that Sean Brady has.
All right, you ready for an upset?
Sugar Sean.
Yeah. Sean O'Malley, number 6. I wanted to put him higher, but at this point, when he hasn't beaten another contender after that the Merab loss, I'm not going to put him any higher because he had one title defense against Chito Vera, and I don't think Chito Vera's a crazy good defense to have on your resume. I don't think we're going to look back. It was nice for him to get that win back because it was a stupid injury in the first place. That rematch never should have been needed, but it is what it is. So I think it's good that you got it back, but if we're going to look back at in 10 years his history and we look back at his like notable wins, I'd say that's a good win, not like an S tier win.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those guys that you look back at and it's like, oh, his resume. Like, he's going to be one of those guys that's overrated in the long haul because of his name value, but his resume just doesn't stand up. Like Peter Yan's his best win right now, even though he's got wins over like Aljo and Cheeto. But Peter Yan's his best win.
Yeah, and if you were around watching that fight, you would know that that's like a very controversial win. So it's like even his best win is it's kind of dicey. So I just don't think that Sean O'Malley in his current form, I don't believe he can beat Merab again, unfortunately. I'm just going to take every single prediction now, guys. I'm just going to take the wrestler at this point.
Yeah.
Like, what's the freaking point, man? What's the point?
UFC 2025, take the wrestler. Except if they're an American wrestler.
Yeah.
Don't take the American wrestler.
It's like I before E except after C.
All right, my number 6 guy. This is where I have Dustin Poirier. So I'm going back and I'm like looking at like Dustin Poirier, and I'm like, we're valuing him really high. Like I still think Dustin Poirier is really good, but we're valuing really high right now off of a close win. Or a close loss to Islam. He gave Islam a good shout. He only got submitted in the 5th round. We're putting a lot of value into a loss, which I think is fair enough when you're talking about the pound for pound number 1 guy. But then it's also like, okay, he beat BSD before that. BSD we know is not that great, but I still think
BSD isn't good.
I mean, arguable. Yeah. Hot take, BSD ain't that great. But I think that with Poirier, you know what you're getting, and I think that he's one of those guys that's like been able to stay very good throughout his career. But I think that right now he may be slightly overrated, and maybe I'm overrating him right now with my logic, which that I talked about with Sean Brady, talking about lost to Gaethje, win over BSD, then lost to Islam kind of thing. But I'm just high on Poirier. You gotta like the guy. I don't like Brady. My list, so he goes at 6.
That's fair. I have Dustin Poirier at the 5, so similar thoughts. I couldn't put him higher just because he's getting older now, and even though he has like a long history of incredible wins in the sport at featherweight and lightweight, that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about how good is he if he went up against top guys in his division right now, and we just saw that. And he's only getting older, so it's not like he's improving in his career. I think his wrestling defense improved for that Islam Makhachev fight, and for only having like a 2-month camp or a 2-month layoff in between fights. Like that's pretty incredible performance. But yeah, like you said, he didn't actually win. He put up a good fight, but lost almost every round. So how highly can you rate a loss? Not that highly. And then the BSD win, it's like, yeah, that's a great highlight KO, and it was so satisfying. But at the same time, it's BSD who's getting beat up by Moicano, and I am 110% sure would have gotten his head taken clean off by Joel Alvarez.
Decapitated, mass murder in that ring.
Yeah, and I think so. Those are his only BSD's 2 losses, like Moicano and Dustin. That's the only 2.
I think so, because he's 13-2 or something.
Yeah, it feels like it's been so many losses, but it's only been those 2. They've just been really bad.
You just get murdered.
But yeah, like Dustin Poirier compared to the guys higher on my list, the guys higher on my list are all like really either coming up to their primes or really in their prime, and Dustin Poirier just ain't that guy anymore.
Yeah, number 5 is where I have Suga, so we kind of just flip-flop those guys. Only thing that puts Suga above Poirier right now for me, win over Peter Yan. And I value a win over Peter Yan very highly right now, just because I think Peter Yan is still, maybe in his prime right now. He was a champion, but he's still like, he's a guy who's had a long prime of just being a great UFC fighter.
Are you talking about Piotr Yan or?
But I mean, also with Suga, he's a guy, like you talked about, controversies kind of followed him throughout his whole career. You have that Aljo fight. It's like, oh, early stop on Aljo,
Yeah.
Controversial win over Yan. And then you have, he's getting a layup over Cheeto, and then finally loses to Merab, 3-2 over Merab. We're putting a lot of hype into losses here right now with these American fighters, which just truly shows how great that they are, how like mid that they are, of a country right now. Like,
yeah, we got to evaluate their losses now.
He gave him a tough battle, you know? I mean, it's Sugar Sean. I think that he could, realistically, like a rematch versus Peter Yan, it's another 50-50 fight,
They should do that. I would love that.
On his best day, he could beat Umar. On his best day, he could beat Merab, but 70% of the time he loses in those fights, kind of thing.
Yeah.
On Sean's best day, he could be the champion again. So we'll see with him.
All right, number 4. So I got Sean Brady, brother.
Okay.
The real good Sean. The only good Sean in the UFC right now. I am high on Sean Brady. He's a number 1 contender in the hardest division right now. He's proving his way, getting ahead of guys like Shavkat, JDM, Buckley, Ian Gary. Like, there's all these massive names, and I think Sean Brady's just gone under the radar for his entire career, and now he is the number 1 contender, still under the radar, because you have guys like Shavkat that are these absolute marauders, as Joe Rogan would say, and then Sean Brady, who's just like this guy who has, a little fade, and that's about it.
Looks like a Channing Tatum and Coach Carter.
Exactly. So
want to be hoodlum.
Yeah, this guy has no aura, but he's actually just killing all of his opponents. And as much as you want to say Leon probably freaking sucks now, Gilbert Burns didn't look the same, but I'm starting to think that maybe Sean Brady's just shutting these guys down.
Hey, new theory unlocked.
I'm really starting to think that Sean Brady's just the GOAT, and that Bilal Muhammad loss is so bad, but we're talking about now, and now he's on a crazy high, and it seems like he has a lot of confidence in himself. I think you should have confidence in yourself if you're doing that to Leon, just killing the guy. So I'm high on Sean Brady, and I think he's probably gonna be a good shot in a rematch against Bilal. Are we really gonna put our faith in JDM to get a KO? I'm not sure.
No. All right, my number 4. This is where I have one of the most underrated fighters inside of the UFC. You might have forgotten him, Lucas. Brandon Royval.
Nah, he's not American.
Oh, he is.
Nah.
Trust me, he's American.
Nah, he's Mexican.
You know what? It was funny when I was doing my research. Joaquin Buckley, do you know what his hometown is?
Wait.
Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, Illinois, right?
No. United States.
What?
That's what the UFC website says. Hometown, United States.
Well, St. Louis.
Yeah, he's from St. Louis, but just United States.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brandon Royval at number 4. One of the most underrated fighters inside of the UFC. Oh, are you fact checking this right now?
No, I believe you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but he is Mexican, but it's okay.
He's from America.
Okay. No, he's Mexican though.
He's from America.
Bro, if I see that goatee, I don't have to fact check this, okay? He's Mexican.
But with a guy like Brandon Royval, win over Brandon Moreno, he's kind of beat a lot of these top flyweights. Another guy, giving Pantoja a tough fight and loss.
Yeah.
Another guy. Classic Americans, giving him tough fights and losses.
Honestly.
But you kind of know what you're getting with Brandon Royval, the second best flyweight in the world.
Dude, Brandon Moreno, though...
But he's beat Brandon Moreno. I think it's close right now.
Yeah.
I think they're 1A, 1B kind of thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Moreno's been more active right now. So I would have loved to see... I guess we're going to see that Royval versus Kopp fight, right? On 317.
Yeah.
I think that's when that is. So that should be interesting to see the level that Royval is still at, because I rate him super highly.
I rate, the thing is with the flyweight is people love to underrate them. I think I rate everyone in flyweight so highly. Pantoja, I rate highly. Royval, Moreno, Tyra, Kopp, even Kygar France, Joshua Van, those guys, Loner Kavanaugh, I rate them all so highly, even though they're flyweights still.
Yeah, you have to. They're actually good. They have skill, unlike light heavyweights and heavyweights.
Yeah.
So that was your number 4?
Yeah, so it's 3.
All right, my number 3, this is why I got Max Holloway.
Yeah, Max Holloway's number 3.
Yeah, I think even after that Taporia loss, I think he still has a lot of potential in his career. Obviously, he's not super old yet. I think he's going to be 33 this year, so has time to kind of make a resurgence. I mean, Dan Hooker's been able to make a resurgence.
Yeah, he's probably got a year or two left of quality top 5 lightweight stuff, and who knows? I think he's a guy that's probably not going to push it too far.
I doubt it.
Very much like a family man.
Dude, why would you?
Yeah.
When you're dating or when you're married to that.
And especially he's the type of guy that's going to take damage in a fight, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to end up like CTE merchant.
And he already is there.
Yeah. Those interviews, those Zoom calls do him dirty.
Oh, those Zoom calls are so bad.
Maybe he's just not a technology guy, the connection's real bad in Hawaii, but those Zoom calls always be doing Max dirty.
Yeah, I like Max in a lot of lightweight matchups, which is why I put him at number 3. I mean, that's crazy considering, dude, is every single fighter coming off a loss? What's going on?
Outside of the top.
Except Sean Brady.
Outside of the top guys, maybe.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, but with Max Holloway, you put him up against a Dan Hooker, I'm gonna pick him. You put him against a Dustin Poirier, I think I'm gonna pick Max
Guess
Holloway.
who's the favorite right now in that fight?
Max? Or no?
Poirier's minus 125 favorite, Max plus 100.
Oh,
so like
so
a
close.
slight. It's almost pick 'em.
Yeah. So I love him in all of the. And I think he has a really good base of like doesn't get taken down, like super hard to take him down and hold him down. So that really bodes well for maybe a title matchup against Makhachev.
Yeah, and
if Makhachev
even a fight against an Arman or a Charles, those are tough matchups for the grapplers because we've seen him be able to defend the takedown so well against a guy like Volk on 3 occasions.
And we saw Volk's chin come back, and I mean, I have no doubt that Max Holloway's chin is going to come back.
Yeah, it's not like all of a sudden he's Chinny McGee.
Yeah,
you know,
at least we hope.
Yeah.
So, knock on wood.
Yeah. All right, number 2.
Number 2, this is where I got Brandon Royval.
No, you don't. Because then you're forgetting a champion.
But I don't recognize a retiree. So do I take out John Jones or do I leave John Jones in?
You just say that you forgot Royval.
Okay, well, guys, I have something to come clean about. I forgot Brandon Royval.
That's okay.
2 lists in a row, I think.
Yeah, and you almost forgot Bilal until I reminded you.
Yes.
2 lists in a row.
Yes.
Once again.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I've been busy. But no, at my number 2 spot, this is where I got Jonathan Jones.
Okay.
So, yeah. I just, look, guys, you can call him the greatest fighter of all time, which I would agree with, but you can't call him the greatest fighter right now because he ain't that. And I promise to every single person watching this video on no one's life that John Jones will lose to Tom Aspinall.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's gonna lose. He's not good, bro. His best win is against Cyril Gane. Okay, have you seen the clip of Cyril Gane getting ragdolled by Imavov? Have you seen that clip, bro? Cyril Gane is so trash. I'm not rating John Jones well in his current form just because he has a win over Cyril Gane and a retired firefighter. Like, that's what he has going for him. And people are like, Joe Rogan saying he developed his spinning back kick at the age of 37. No one does this. He's been using his whole career, man. Like, I'm just tired of MMA people.
Fair enough.
I'm tired of you, bro.
This is generational John Jones hate.
I hate him.
I should have worn the John Jones shirt.
Did you buy it?
Yeah, I bought it.
No,
$10.
That's crazy.
$10.
Timu John Jones.
All right, my number 2. So I have Bilal. You know, I think the only difference between Bilal and John Jones for me right now, John Jones technically has a current title defense. Bilal, we haven't seen him have a title defense. You know, he has the great resume on his way up to the belt, but I want to see him defend that belt. You know, this video might age poorly because it might come out after the Bilal versus JDM fight.
Nah, surely not.
Yeah, but surely he's going to win, but I think like with the win over JDM, he's in my 1 spot, but this video is recorded prior to that fight.
Yeah.
So if he beats JDM, he's 1 on the list because I think I value Leon and JDM over Stipe and Cyril Gane.
And all of his other wins, Sean
Exactly.
Brady and everyone he had to get to the title.
But right now, John Jones has 1 title defense.
And didn't he beat like a more of a prime Gilbert Burns too? Like,
yeah,
he's ran through pretty much everyone at this point.
So 2 was Bilal. Number 1 for me, John Jones. Like I said, he has that title defense. You know, he beat Cyril Gane, who was on the rise. You know, has a great resume. You know, he beat Anthony Smith, beat Dominic Reyes. Just some great wins that, you know, remarkable. That a lot of guys
4 years ago,
a lot of guys in the UFC don't have wins over a guy like Anthony Smith.
No.
So it's a rare accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah, not many guys have a record like Anthony Smith too, you know.
Yeah, you know.
20 losses.
Yeah.
30 wins. It's crazy.
Is it confirmed that Ming Zhang's next John Jones because he beat Anthony Smith?
Or title shot. I'd say give it.
Honestly?
Give it to him.
Why not?
I mean, if we go by logic, he'll get a first round KO because that's what he's won all of his fights by.
Yeah.
It's an easy win. Just put your money on it. For my number 1 spot, this is where I got remember the name Bilal Muhammad.
Thanks for remembering him for once.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always been Bilal's biggest fan, and I've put him on every list that we've done. So I think Bilal is in his prime right now, even though he's 36. You know, he hopped on the sauce and just took it to a new level. I'm proud of him for that. So he's going to beat JDM, unfortunately. I think he probably has a good fight with Shavkat. That's probably going to be one of his closest fights just because Shavkat is really good on the ground and has submission threats and is tough and a blockhead, so, and has a striking, obviously, clinch game. Like, it's going to be really tough to take Shavkat down, so that's like maybe when I'll start considering Bilal Muhammad losing. But who knows, even if Shavkat's next at this point, you know, they could realistically skip him because he hasn't done anything. He's had like 1 fight in the last 16 months or something. So it's just like at this point, Bilal Muhammad seems unstoppable. I just touched your leg. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
that was not on purpose. You guys, this is why we have a table down here. You don't want to see what's going on.
all right, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Make sure you guys go down to the comments. Let us know.
You just cut off my Bilal glaze, bro. That's crazy.
It was enough.
That's
it was
great.
enough.
You're done. You're done
It
with
was
the
enough.
Bilal glaze.
There was too much talk. These American fighters, they're all dog water.
Yeah.
Just wait. Next week, top 10 Canadian fighters.
Do you think we're gonna get hate for putting Bilal as an American fighter?
Born in Chicago. You can't hate. You can't hate. If you hate, racist. And we don't like racism around here.
No.
No racism. All right, go down to the comments. Let us know who's the best American fighter, but also who's your favorite American fighter. There's a lot of lovable American fighters. Mine's obviously Max Holloway. Yours is probably Dustin.
Bro, at this point, it's Bilal.
Hey, true that. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing as well. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
So yeah.